just thought I would pop in here with a quick video that has an update on how we're doing with this surprise pregnancy. If you did not see our surprise baby video, I would highly encourage you to go back and watch that just so you can kind of be caught up on what is going on in our lives. So I'm on my third trimester with our third child. We have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, and then this baby will be here in about 2 months. So that has been a whirlwind. We were not planning for this to happen. Again, you can go catch up on the full story over on that other video, but I just thought we could talk about kind of how we're doing today and how things are going, giving you some updates. So let's start with physical. Physically, I'm feeling okay. I'm not throwing up anymore, which is great. I actually stopped throwing up probably around 14 or 15 weeks, which was great. Happy to do it. So I was able to kick Zofran out the door. I'm not on that anymore. That's been awesome. So that is good. I still have moments of like nausea or like just like my stomach not feeling great, but at least I'm not throwing up. On the other hand, my heartburn and restless legs have gotten really bad. So my restless leg, I think, has been the worst it's ever been in any pregnancy. My heartburn has been okay, but still there because I'm taking Prevacid. So I'm taking pregnancy safe heartburn medicine. And that has been helping, but it doesn't mitigate it. Like it just mitigates it. It doesn't take it away. The restless leg, on the other hand, has just been awful. There was a stretch for a couple of weeks where I just wasn't sleeping at all. I have started taking some magnesium, and that's been kind of helpful. You gotta like work up to the dose of magnesium that you take or that you're supposed to take. And I have been able to do that, and I'm there now, and it's gotten a little bit better. But I also just recently found out that I'm pretty anemic. I think I'm at the worst anemia that I have been. So I'm about halfway to severe anemia, which would require like a blood transfusion and some other things. We're not there yet, but I do need to take more than 1 dose a day of iron. So I think that will help the restless leg syndrome when I start taking the iron, because iron can, an iron deficiency can cause restless leg syndrome to be really bad. So overall, feeling pretty good, happy to not be throwing up. Would prefer to not have the other symptoms, but other than that, we're doing okay. Emotionally. So I made it pretty clear in the last video that we were really upset when we found out that we were pregnant. And emotionally, I am doing a lot better. I could not imagine not having another kid at this point, and I'm excited for this baby to get here. But I still have some really tough days, especially on the days when Zeke is a lot to manage because he's, 2.5. And so we're really getting into that stage of him just needing a lot of attention and not quite figuring out how to do independent play, and constantly like calling our names and asking the same questions over and over again. And then also being met with all the tantrums and stuff like that come with his age. And then we're also in this stage with Valley where she just puts everything in her mouth. So, we're outside, she's trying to eat stuff. We're inside, she's trying to eat stuff. So it's just this constant watching of trying to figure out if she's gonna choke to death on something she's not supposed to be eating. So days like that can be really hard. And I can just really feel like I don't think I can do this again. And I can't imagine that I can do this with a third kid. And I have days where I'm just like, why did we become parents? And I hate everything about this. And this is miserable. And that's just like I think that's just the reality of it. The reality of kids are hard. And the idea that we're going to have a third just some days just overwhelms me. But overall, I am feeling a lot better emotionally about it. I'm really excited to not ever be pregnant again. We have gone ahead and committed to that. With my C-section, I'll just go ahead and get a tubal ligation also. I had a really rough C-section experience with Zeke, and my second C-section with Valley, I was really nervous and was such a wreck. And the doctor who was doing the C-section, she knew about it. Everybody at our practice knew about it, and they really ended up making the C-section experience amazing. I actually have a video on that as well. I can link it down below. So I am not quite as nervous as I was with Valley to have another C-section, but they're still not enjoyable. Like, I still don't love having a C-section. I wish that I could have had a VBAC or have had vaginal deliveries in general anyways. But we got really good news on yesterday, actually, that we get to have the same doctor. So it's always a gamble. We live in a city, we go to a large practice. It's always a gamble on who you're gonna get. Well, the doctor that did my C-section she just advocated for me so well and made the experience so good. And so I really kind of begged to have her again, and it was kind of up in the air on if I was going to, and I totally understood if I wasn't gonna get her. But we do end up having her, and the funny thing is that the C-section is actually on the doctor's birthday. So my third child and the doctor will have the same birthday, which is adorable. I love that. So not quite as nervous as I have been in the past about a C-section, but still, not wildly looking forward to it. I just have to shut my brain off and not think about it when it's time. I am definitely still struggling with body image. I did post a video recently kind of about what that looks like and how I'm trying to manage my weight, not gain weight, but manage my weight in this pregnancy. And so it's still been a struggle. I do think that the extra weight has been aggravating the restless leg also. So that's been kind of discouraging, but I have been doing things to try to combat that, negative body image. I just remind myself that I'm pregnant, remind myself that my worth is not in my weight. And then I also just do something about it. I walk every day. I try to walk a mile right now. And I also just started weightlifting again, but you can see more about that in the video where I talked about how I was managing that weight. So lastly, financially, nothing has really changed in our income. So we've not gotten more income. We still don't quite know how we're gonna figure it out, how we're gonna make it. But we did recalculate all of daycare, the total daycare expense that it was gonna cost us to have all 3 kids in daycare, which is the biggest hit to our income, honestly. And both Zeke and Valley will drop in price by the time this baby enters into daycare. So it's still expensive, but we found about $160 in our financial margin that we could use to put towards a car payment each month. We really didn't want to have to do that, but we are gonna stay a 1-car family. We cannot fit 3 car seats in our Subaru Crosstrek. Trust me, we have tried. And so because we're gonna stay a 1-car family, we decided that we wanted to get something that was used but newer. And we did find a car, and I will talk more about that later. But we were only able to find a car and are only able to squeeze a car payment of any kind into our budget because multiple people in our community have come through and asked to help us with the car. Our old small group leaders gave us 10 grand towards a car. What? The generosity, it just floors me. And I think that really brings me to the point I want to drive home in this video, that God is still not answering every question and still is not fixing all the things. We haven't gotten raises, we haven't gotten second incomes. We still are trying to navigate, sticking within our food budget, all of that stuff. God's not fixing every problem, but He has been so consistently showing up, especially in our community. I mean, and in the words of the great Kirk Franklin, favors not material things, but God has just been giving us so much favor with people. We had a mom from daycare that I've just talked to a couple of times reach out and say, hey, I have a double stroller that's way too bulky for us. We don't want this kind of double stroller. It's a stacked double stroller. We want a side-by-side double stroller. We would love to just bless you with it. And we've offered to pay some money towards it. And they're just like, no, we just want to bless you. And so God keeps showing up, and he's not answering everything. But what he's really teaching me is like, yeah, we might not have wanted this, and this really might have been God's plan and not at all our plan. And God is still finding ways to like give us favor in that, and is taking care of us. And so I think we're walking out of this season, instead of feeling super overwhelmed, which again, we do feel super overwhelmed sometimes, but I think we're really walking into this third child entering our home, knowing like God's going to take care of it. It's totally fine that we felt however we're going to feel about it. It's totally fine that we've been upset. But if we just continue to trust God, he's going to provide, and we can stop worrying and scheming and trying to figure out how we can make it work, because he is going to make it work. So our community has been really great. I mean, even like one of the couples that we look up a lot too, that they're really just kind of like a second set of parents to us. She just was like, hey, I have a bunch of extra pairs of Vans that I'm not going to wear, and I know you wear Vans all the time, so I thought you could maybe use them. Would you like them? Just little stuff like that. I mean, and Vans, like extra shoes is superfluous. Okay, I have like one pair I wear every day. But even just that is such a sweet kindness on both their part and on God's part, to just give us little things like that. So I'll talk more about the car in another video, but that has worked out. Nothing else has really worked out financially, but we're holding on to hope. We're getting more and more hopeful as things go on that it's going to work out, and that even if we never get more money or we never get more income, we're going to eat and it's going to be fine. So overall, physically better, emotionally better, financially, hey, we got a car, so our kids can be transported, and we trust that God's going to figure it out. So better. Overall, the quote is, we're feeling better. Anyways, thank you so much for being here for this video. Thanks if you've been kind of following along with the journey a little bit. Please consider subscribing and liking this video. It would be great if YouTube could be a second source of income, so that one of us doesn't have to change jobs or work outside of the house doing something different at a different time. Oh, sounds like my daughter's up and she's crying. She's supposed to be napping, but isn't that just the story of every video? Okay, bye-bye.